Touch is a nose boop to the palm of our hand. We can use this as a way to redirect our dog away from something, or just to simply get them focused, warmed up, and ready to work with us.
Yes, good boy.
For sitting down, sometimes you'll see that I reward a second or even a third time for him holding the position. This is an important piece of training because it teaches him to not only hold the position longer and not just immediately get up after a treat is given, but also this translates to other behaviors as he learns to offer us behavior and hold on to longer behaviors like leash walking and stay.
Good boy.
Pickles, for recall, you're going to say, Pickles, come. And then as soon as he turns to look at you, you'll mark yes and begin praising him all the way to you, and then reward with a treat once he arrives. You can practice this in the backyard, calling him back and forth between two people, or simply calling him randomly throughout your time that you're outside playing. To advance this, you can even take this to the park or the front yard using a long leash, practicing the same training games.
Good boy. Pickles, come. Yes, good boy. Nice job.
Leave it means back away from the thing that you were headed towards. So in this situation, we're practicing with treats by dropping multiple on the ground. This is to help mimic if there were any spills in the kitchen, something dangerous that they can't eat, like chocolate chips or even pills. And you want him to be able to back away from that thing. And then you're going to mark yes and reward as soon as he does. You can also practice this by mimicking other real situations like spilling a bowl of stuff out of your hand, dropping stuff, knocking stuff off the counter. This is also a really great one for the kids to practice with him holding food and telling him to leave it, whatever's in their hand. We also practice advancing this by working on going out of the room. You could even just step outside of the room without even going behind a closed door, but just to practice that if you set something down and tell him to leave it, that he's not immediately going to try to take that thing that's been set out. In real time, when you have a situation where you'll use leave it, you're most likely not going to have a treat on you. So what you'll do in these real situations is say leave it as soon as he does yes and begin praising him, and you're going to throw a big praise party all the way to the treats.
They're all there. Good job, Pickles.
Drop it means let go of the thing that is in your mouth. Here we're practicing with a bully stick. That's about all I could get him to take from me in a training session because he's too smart. But we had lots of opportunities for real life drop-its throughout the day. And just like with leave it, you're not going to have a treat on you. So you're going to do a praise party all the way to the treat so that you still reward him for the thing. Place means go there, lay down, and stay until released, all with using that one word. You should not have to say down or stay. You should be able to say place, and he knows to go straight there, lay down, and wait until you give further instructions. So his release word is free, and that's what you will use at the very end. But you're going to start with pointing towards his bed, cue him place. Once he's there and laying down, you can mark yes and reward by placing a treat on the bed. It's really important that the treats come to him on the bed. This helps him know that he shouldn't get up and try to meet you for it, try to take it from your hand, that he should wait there, the food will come to him. Then when you're practicing, you'll begin walking around. You can practice walking farther distances, going slightly out of sight, going and doing different distractions like walking past or running past. And then you're just going to periodically come back and reward him by placing the treat on the bed. And then continue on until you're ready to be done. This helps build his ability to do his place through all kinds of distractions, whether that is the kids running through the room, a guest coming to the door, anything else that may happen. So you're going to try different distractions and then reward periodically throughout. If you try a distraction and he gets up, that lets you know, oh, that was a little hard. So you're just going to try it a second time. You're going to send him back to place. Do not reward immediately when you send him back. You're going to try the distraction then again. If he doesn't get up, reward. If he does get up, that tells you that we need to make the distraction a little smaller. So for instance, if it was stomping like I'm doing here and he got up and I tried it a second time and he still got up, then what I would do is start with a smaller stomp, make it a little less. If I was practicing dropping an item, I might drop it a little quieter or so it didn't make as loud a noise or roll as far away. You're just going to make the distraction slightly smaller and then reward and build back up to the regular kind of size of the distraction. This is a great way to get the kids involved in training as well. You can have them be doing the distractions while you are standing next to him and rewarding him periodically. They can run around, jump, drop things, go out of sight, just do all kinds of different distractions to help build his ability to hold his stay.
Yes. Good boy.
And then when you're done, you're going to use his release word, which is free, to tell him he is now free to get up. And you do not have to reward that with a treat, because the reward is you get to get up and move at your own free will now. These training sessions are what I call formal training sessions, and this is just one of the ways to work on his play stay and to maintain it. The other way you can do is in real life context where you would want him to place. For instance, like dinner time. So for these real life contexts training sessions, you're going to bring the bed close if you're doing this something where you're sitting down, and I'm going to have it in range where I can easily reward, and then I'm just going to ask him to place, start to do my thing. So for here it's dinner time, and then I'm going to periodically reward throughout dinner. If he gets up, you're going to send him back and continue on. Just like with the formal training sessions, the goal is that over time, you're going to build more and more duration between reinforcement until at some point you don't need very many, maybe one in the beginning and one at the end to reinforce this behavior. But if you are consistent in rewarding it, you will see him start to pick this up. So for instance, for us, because this is something we do every night at dinner time, Pickles has figured out that when the bed gets placed in the kitchen and we start getting ready to sit down at the table, he already will run to the bed because he knows that is what we're doing, and he'll already be ready to do his place. So if there are contexts like dinner where you would want him to do this every time, just be consistent in practicing during those times, and that will help Pickles pick up the pattern and understand that that is his job and that's what he should be doing at that time. He does really great and stays on his bed the whole time. He's so food motivated, and he is really willing to do the things. If you find, though, that he's getting up frequently, I would kind of check in with yourself and see, have you maybe spaced out the reinforcement too much and he just wasn't ready yet? That is often the problem, is that we're not reinforcing enough. And we've tried to wean too fast off of the treats. So make sure that you're still reinforcing this, especially as he comes home, because he knows how to do this, but he's now got to learn that he can do this at home with you guys as well. And so making sure you kind of start back reinforcing him really frequently, and then over time, as you do it more and more, you'll be able to slowly reinforce a little less and a little less. And just like in those other training sessions, when you are done and you are ready for him to get up, make sure you release him and use that word free, and that lets him know he can get up. And lastly, here are just a quick few examples of ways that we worked on advancing his place and really challenging him. So here he's in my advanced obedience class working on a group stay. We also worked on group stays at my house with my two dogs, practicing him being released by his name and not just releasing because another dog got up, practicing having my dogs get up, do a little training while he practices staying, just really building that impulse control for him to stay on his bed. And then lastly, here's just a really quick example of practicing with the kids, where I had my son running around and doing all the things while I rewarded Pickles for staying through all of that and not getting up and getting excited to go hang out with him.
Wait.
Wait means stop and don't go any further. So when we say wait, we're drawing an imaginary line and telling them that they can do anything but cross that line. So I don't care if he's in a sit, down, stand, or even moves around a little bit, as long as he does not cross the line. So here I'm practicing at the stairs. I've asked him to wait at the bottom of the stairs so he can do any of those things, like I said, but he cannot cross that line. So as I move around, I'm periodically tossing a treat back to him just to let him know he's doing good and keep it up. And when I want him to cross that line, I can say free. This is really great at stairs, so you don't have a dog that is tripping you going up down the stairs, which is something Pickles does like to try to do. He does like to try to bulldoze you down the stairs if you let him. So I would definitely, if you have stairs in the house, be practicing wait at all the stairs with him. Another great way to practice is at the front door, so that we don't have a dog that wants to dash out if the door gets left open or as soon as the door is even open. So you're going to cue him to wait. You can step outside the door, and you can see, just like I did with the stairs, I'm just going to, move around, walk around, and then I'm going to come back, shut the door, and reward. If I'm not letting him cross the line, then I don't have to release. So at the stairs, you saw that both times I released him to kind of cross that line. At the front door, you'll see here that I'm not releasing him. The only time I would release him at the front door is if I was going to let him cross that line, like if we're going out on a walk. But if I'm stepping out to pick up a package, then I'm not going to release him. Anytime you have a package at the door, I would take that opportunity to practice the wait. Especially like here, I practiced kind of what would happen if I had to walk away from the door because I had a heavy package. Could he stay back knowing that the door was still open and I wasn't there to block it? In his third week, we worked on advancing his weight into using this when you're walking. So you can be walking with him if you needed to step forward for some reason without him, to check around a corner, anything you might need to do. You can cue him wait, walk away from him, come back and reward him, and then
Pickles,
release
wait.
him to free to continue walking with you. So you can see here we're practicing kind of that in motion wait. I'm moving still, cue him to wait, and can I walk on? And then again, you can go back to him, pick up his leash, reward him, and then release him if you're going to go forward. The other option is to kind of call him forward. So you are going to do the same thing. You're walking with him, cue him to wait. And then once you get so far, you can cue him on with you by using that release word free to let him come. This is all building up so that you can use wait as an emergency stop if he were to be off leash, or if you just happen to drop the leash. You can cue him wait. If he stops, then you would mark yes and he can come back to you, or I can cue him wait like I'm here, catch up to him, reward him, and then release him to keep moving on with me. For play greetings, we use the cue go say hi. So you're going to make sure that first you have his attention. If he's pulling towards the person who wants to pet him, your first step is to get him back to you. Make sure you have his attention. You can ask him for something simple like touch or sit. Then cue him, go say hi, let him get his pets, and then mark yes and reward him. If at any point you see him getting too wound up and you think he might jump, you are better off to go ahead and mark yes and pull him back and reward him than to continue to let him stay there longer where he might jump on someone. You can do this on leash like you saw there if you're out and about with him. With guests in the house, you can do the same thing, but you can utilize place as well. If he's not quite ready to stay on his place the whole time, you can also put him on leash and have someone hold him next to his place while practicing. You can practice this even without real guests at home. When somebody's coming home and hasn't been home, it's a great time to use that excitement to practice. Also, again, getting the kids involved, have the kids step outside, knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and be your pretend guests. This will help build up for those real situations so that he's had lots of practice before it's actually a real guest.
Yes, good boy, Pickles.
For leash walking, the main thing that we've been working on with Pickles is what we call rewarding good choices. So when he's walking at our side or even slightly in front, but he's on a loose leash, you're going to mark yes and reward him. When you reward him when walking, it's really important that you reward with the hand closest to him. If you start rewarding with the opposite hand and crossing in front of your body, what's going to happen is Pickles is going to start meeting you in front for those treats, and you're going to start tripping over him and be really frustrated. So it's really important that you're using the hand closest to him to reward so that he knows all the good stuff happens right next to you at your side. If he were to start to pull ahead, you're simply just going to say this way, cue him, and do a little turnaround. So take a few steps back, turn him around, and kind of reset. As with everything else, in the beginning, you're going to reward pretty frequently for all the good choices. As he gets better over time, you're weaning down from 100% of good choices to 75 to 50 to 25 and so on. Knowing that when you are in the neighborhood, you may get really good if you're walking every day where you don't have to reward very often, and maybe you're down to 25% rewarding good choices. But when you go somewhere new that's maybe a little bit exciting, somewhere maybe where there's lots of the kids are or anything like that, you're going to have to up your reinforcement because it's a more distracting environment. So just be prepared that right now he's still young and learning, and so in those new areas you're still going to have to reward pretty frequently. So here we're walking through Lowe's. It's a great place to practice out as well outside of the neighborhood, places like Lowe's and PetSmart, in the parks. If he starts to pull ahead like he did here, I'm just going to turn him around, reset, and that was because he was excited because he saw someone. But you see, we're just going to do a simple reset, get him back on track, and then start rewarding those good choices again. Again, to really push his skills over his 3 weeks, we have practiced this at public parks. He has practiced this in group class, like he is here, demonstrating leash walking and walking past lots of other dogs, as well as practiced in situations like Lowe's. Overall, he's doing absolutely amazing with his leash walking for his age, and we've been able to really work in a lot of really distracting environments. But he is very motivated. He wants to work with you. He wants to earn the reinforcement, which makes for an easy pup to train and to motivate to do the work with you. And that's a wrap on Pickles training.